don't forget to click that subscribe and bell icon to receive a notification each time I upload a new video. Hi everyone, it's Mike here. So it's the first Saturday in a brand new month. We're halfway through the year already. So it means it's a brand new mission inspiration over on our Facebook group. So I will turn on to my overhead camera and I will show you the prompts for the month, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. But Ian's been baking again. Look. Ooh. Biscuit UFO. And it's still warm. Such a lucky boy. Right, let's get on. Okay, so this is the set of prompts for June 2021. So the theme is above and beyond. So outer space, the afterlife, or past the visible horizon. What can you imagine? So the colours that we've got are navy, magenta and gold. I know the computer or the monitor screen isn't really picking up the proper magenta colour. It's a bit different because of the way it's been printed, because the printers are strange. And the ingredients, in no particular order: maps, lettering, doodles, washi tape and glitter. I know, something that I don't normally use. So we'll try and incorporate as many of these into the project as we possibly can. So for my colours, I've gone through all of my paints. I haven't really got a navy blue. I have got the lapis from Dina Wakley Media, but I've also got the Williamsburg blue from Deco Art. Now they're totally different colours. This is more of what I would call an RAF blue, a Royal Air Force blue, which probably doesn't mean anything to anybody outside of the UK. So the lapis is possibly the nearest I've got to navy blue, but it's maybe not dark enough. So what I might do is I might actually mix those two together just to give it a bit of a different shade. For the magenta, now obviously Dina Wakley Media has a magenta, but this is a little bit pinky pink for me. But in the Americana paints, I've got a royal fuchsia, which is a bit more purpley pink. So again, I might do a combination of the two. And as for the gold, you can either go metallic gold or just matte gold. And if you haven't got a gold, then the best colour to substitute is actually yellow ochre. And if you've got some mica that you could put, or pearlescent additive that you can add to it, then you'll get a really nice kind of goldy effect. Now, whether I go gold paint or gold glitter or gold foil, I don't know. I will work out something. I will work something out. So it's the essence of glitter. So small and sparkly. So those are my ingredients that I'm going to be using for the paint. So we've got maps and lettering. Well, lettering will be used when I do the quote for the page. Doodles, let's just see what happens. So washi tape and maps. So I need to find some old maps and some washi tape that I can put in my background for my art journal page. So this is my journal for the year. I've got my 2 new stencils out. I might use one of those, I don't know, but I've got them out just in case. And I've also, well, as I was going through my stencil collection, I found this one. Now this was a prototype stencil that I didn't release, or I've never released. And I called this one, I don't know if you can see the colour on that, let me just see if I can, there you go, it's probably better. I just called this one Random Rocks, because it does. I never released it, or at least I can't remember whether I released it or not. And it's not on the website, so I can't have released it. But if you're interested in the Random Rocks one, let me know. It's more of uneven circles as opposed to the Particles one, which is regular circles. This is more irregular, kind of squared circles done in a random pattern. So hence random. And it rocks because it looks like rocks, and because, you know, random is fantastic. So random rocks. Yeah, so if you are interested in that stencil, let me know in the comments below, because I might get that cut as a stock item, only if there's sufficient interest. But there you go. Right, so that's the random rocks one. So I'll put that to one side now. So what I need to do now is to go off and find some bits of old map and to dig out my washi tape collection. So I will be right back. Okay, so I've gone through my bits and bobs collection, and obviously I found an old map. This one has got hints of kind of reddish, kind of magenta in there, so I could use that. But as I was going through my washi tape collection, I found those two. So we've got kind of like bricks, we've got script, but I actually found a washi tape that had maps on it. Haha. And when I opened it up, can you see, it's actually got gold in it too. So that could double up for both the maps and the washi tape if I was feeling really kind of frugal and lazy, but I'm not. I will still use it though. Right, so let's start preparing my journal. So this is my 2021 Mission Inspiration Art Journal. So we started off in January that way. Look, that's torn. That one's gluing back down again. So we started off that way, and then each month we've turned so there's no up and no down. So that was last month. So this month we'll turn again, and we're going to go that way. So what I'll do is I'll just grab some clips just to kind of hold that page down, because it is starting to pull up a little bit. So just in the corners there. Right, so I need to start adding in some background bits. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and tear some pieces of this map. So this is taken from an old atlas, and it's actually an atlas which is centred around Australia. This is an Australian produced atlas, so a lot of the stuff is about the history and geology around Australia. So this is an old map of the East India, so the India, and they've got India Orientalis. So basically it's like East India, kind of New Guinea sort of area. But hey, right, so what I'm going to do is I don't want that little crest. We don't want that, so we want just some random strips or chunks just to kind of go in the background, just to give it a little bit of interest in the background. You're probably not going to see a lot of this at all, and I'm probably only going to put maybe like 2 or 3 pieces of it down like that, which should do, I think. Yeah, I think maybe just move that, maybe make it a bit smaller. So we've got left, right, and right the way across the middle. So to glue those down, I'm going to use some matte medium, which I haven't got a lot left, and paintbrush. Excuse me, a little bit of a tickle today. I'm cutting down on the amount of coffee that I drink every day, so I've not had very many at all today. Not that that's any excuse, because I could have had water instead, but I just didn't bring a drink up with me when I came to sit and do this project, which was a bit silly of me, really. Duh. But nobody ever said I was sensible. Or coherent. Or made any sense. Right. So stick that down there. It's just a little bit of interest in that background. I'm trying not to touch it because it does have an adverse effect on my skin, and I can't find, I think all of the rubber gloves have gone into the car. Okay, so let's grab that map washi tape and just start tearing some pieces. And that clip's just pinged off. Must have been the heat. Can't take the heat. So let's have some of that across there. Let's just cross a bit down there. I'm just going to stick this down kind of randomly. Like I said, it will disappear off into the background. Let's bring some of that other washi tape in. What did I do with it? That's the brick one over there. So just real kind of random. It doesn't have to be anything planned in any great way, because like I said, it will disappear off into the background anyway. I think we'll put that one across the edge there. And then the final piece was that one with the script on. Just a couple of pieces of that. Wasn't very straight, was it? That was a bit rubbish. Can I peel it off? Will it let me? It will. Not. Look, it's ripped a piece of that paper off. That's okay. We'll just cover it up. Try and make it a bit straighter this time. There we go. Right, so I'm going to go over the top of all of that, including the washi tape, with some of the matte medium, just to kind of give it a bit of a coating, just to seal it in. Just like that. So sometimes we get lots of comments when we do, I'm talking in general like YouTubers, when we do background with underlayers like this, and I know one of the common questions is, why do you put all this stuff underneath? You're going to cover it over. Well, it's like underwear. You don't see it, but it's there. It's foundation. It's like foundation bricks. You know, it builds, it helps put structure and texture into whatever it is you're building. Like I said, you don't necessarily see it, but it's there, and it provides that stability and comfort and support. So that's what I look at it as. It's not necessarily under paper, it's underwear. Although I don't recommend paper knickers. Okay, so next we want to a little bit of white gesso just to knock that back a tad. Oh, I need a paintbrush. Oh, I forgot to bring all my paintbrushes in from the last time I washed them. So I have to reach up and grab some different ones, that will do. Okay, so Dina Wakeler white gesso. So this will provide a bit of an undercoat, it will knock everything back, but it won't cover it completely. So you'll still see the texture in the background, but it won't be in your face. So it provides a tooth for any kind of paint that you're going to put on over the top. So it is very much like an undercoat or a ground, as they call it. And if you didn't want it quite as strong as this, you could always add a little bit of water. But that's kind of how I want it. And then get that dried off. Okay, so that's my ground level. Of course, if it's too opaque and you don't like it, then if you get a baby wipe or a little moist tissue, oh, it's a baby. Probably a very, very old photo. It's probably about 30 about now. Okay, so get a baby wipe, and then you can, just in certain areas, just very gently lift a little bit of it off. Put it on, take it off. See how it's just starting to lift a little bit. So you just get to see a little bit more of that texture come through. I know what you're thinking, why have you done it? Why did you put it on if you're taking it off again? Because that's what we do. It's called the dance. We add, we take away. That's just what we do. Right, okay, that'll do. Just quickly dry that off again. Okay, so we'll just tick those off. So we've got maps and we've now got washi hidden underneath all there. So let's start adding some of that colour. So I'll move those stencils to one side for the time being. I want some water, which I've got in a little spray bottle just there. So I'm going to start off with that blue. So let's just bring a little bit of that blue. About that, and then I'm going to add some of that. That's the lapis blue from Dina Wakley Media. And then this is going to be some of that Williamsburg blue from the Deco Art, which I'm going to add just a little bit too. And we're going to do a just a little bit of a mix. Just see what that gives us. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top of the page. I want some water. I don't want it too strong. We've got the baby wipe. And I'm just going to lift. I don't want it matte and flat. and I'm going across the page. So maybe just a little bit more of that blue just towards the top. Bit of water. And then just sweeping motions. You see that bits of texture coming up. That's okay. So let's just clean that brush, get rid of the blue, and then while it's still wet, what I want to do is just bring in that magenta colour. There we go. So let's have that fuchsia colour. So not quite purple, because everybody knows that that's not my favourite colour. That's been following me for a while. And I had to laugh the other day. I was reading some comments on some of the YouTube videos, or one of the YouTube videos that I'd done, where I'd mentioned about purple and not liking the colour. And somebody had put, I can't remember who, it wasn't malicious or anything, that purple is the colour of sexual frustration. I thought, well, you know, what does that say? Saying anything. So, right, so let's get some of that magenta-y colour in there. Now I'm going heavy in some places and lighter in others. I don't want it too overpowering. I want it to kind of blend. I do want some stronger tones somewhere in there a little bit. That's it. And then just fade out into the sky. There we go. Like that. Okay, so again, while it's still wet, I don't want to dry it just yet. I find it's easier to blend the colours if the paints are still wet or damp. And then let's get that ochre colour. Just wash and clean the brush. That's it. Touch of water. Maybe a bit too much there. We'll see. And then yeah, maybe just a little bit too much water in that. Okay, I'll just quickly dry that off now. Okay, so the reason I wanted just to quickly dry that off is because I did put a little bit too much water in that. So I just want to get some more neat paint. Making sure I dry the brush off, and then I can pick that's better. It's almost kind of like a dry brush, just to blend the colour in. And down towards the bottom, we've got it darker again. Just long brush strokes. And that, I think, that's it. Yeah, I'm fairly happy with that. Just lighten that a little bit. Yeah, I like the way that it kind of blends but doesn't blend. if you get my drift. Okay, so the paint's all dry, so now it's time to add just a little bit of kind of texture in that bottom part. So what I'm going to do is just turn that stencil over. I'm going to bring that yellow ochre back in, but I'm going to add in some of the Williamsburg blue. And now, weird, eh? And just get a piece of sponge. Put the top back on before I stab myself in the fingers. And I'm going to just hold it down. About so. And then I'm just going to pick up and then I'm going to go just across. I'll do. Just creates a little bit of interest. Maybe just a couple across there. That'll do. Let's not go mad. I'll clean that stencil off in a minute. I'll just do it now. Just while it's still wet. Get the majority off. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got that dry, so we've now got all three of those colours in. I want to do some, I'll say glitter, so a little bit of sparkle now. So I've got this white metallic paint. So this is called Snow White, and this is from Indigo Blue, my friends at Indigo Blue. So I'm going to grab that, and I've got a fan brush in here. So I'm going to take some of that nice kind of metallic white, drop it down there, get some water. Get a bit more of that paint. There we go. And then I'm going to splatter the top. Quite heavily. Put the lid back on. Right, let me get that dried off, and I'll have a tidy up, and I'll be back when this is dry. Okay, so those splatters are now dry, and if I tilt, you can see there is actually a little bit of glitter and sparkle in those splatters. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put that to one side because I need to work on one of my other focal points. So I need my stamp press and I need some ink. So I'll be back in a little while. Okay, so I've got my stamp press and I've got my stamp already laid out. I've just got a scrap piece of white card and I've got some Stays On solvent ink. Now, do I want Stays On? Or do I want water-based? No, we'll go for water-based. So I'm going to swap that for a tuxedo black memento. And the stamp that I'm using is from one of these stamp sets that I designed for Indigo Blue, and it's going to be this one. These are the mini mics. So I'm going to use this one. This is the one where I'm stood, or Mini Mike is stood in his pants with his arms up. So this is going to be a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek whimsical page once it's finished. So that's what I'm going to do. So these stamps are deep etched red rubber stamps already cut out for you and mounted on cling foam. So I do have a few of these stamp sets left on my website. So there's only 2 or 3 left. So if you're interested in one of those, then you better get across there quick, because they won't be there for much longer. Okay, so mini mics. Memento, because I want a water-based ink. And then we'll just ink up the stamp. Like so. Don't usually do a lot of stamping for the mission inspirations. That's stamped quite well. Just go over it once more though, just because. Because, as in the words of the song, it's got to be perfect. Well, for me it is anyway. That'll do. That will do. Okay. Okay, so when I got my set, they weren't cut out, because this was the demo set. This was like the prototype set. When they went into full production, they did do them all cut out. And of course you do get quite a few of the sentiments as well. It's my birthday suit. No one is rich enough to buy back their youth. And be yourself, everyone else is taken. Youth is a gift of nature, but age is a work of art. I like that one. Whatever. Goes quite well with the sulky teenager types. And we are the dreamers of tomorrow. Good, those. But I'm biased. Anyway, right, so let's put those stamps away. So what I want to do now is I want to colour this up. So I'm going to dust off some marker pens. Okay, so these are the marker pens that I'm going to be using, and no, they're not Copic markers. They're a different brand. So these are the Pro Marker. It used to be Letraset, but now purchased by Winsor & Newton. So I've got some, because this is me, mini me, I'm going to do these in a sympathetic colour scheme. Apart from, right, do blue pants. Blue pants. And let's have some reddish hair. I think spice and honeycomb. So those are the colours that we're going to use. So again, these are dual tip. So you've got a bullet tip on one end and a chisel on the other. And they are extremely good marker pens. Alcohol based, which is why I wanted a water-based ink rather than a solvent-based ink, because if I'd used a solvent-based ink and then used alcohol pens on, the black lines would have smudged. If you were using watercolours or water-based inks, fine to use the solvent one. Okay, so I'm going to go light first of all. I don't know if actually I've gone light enough. Don't often colour, and I certainly don't often colour on camera. That's the one, I think. Right, so let's start up there. That's way too light. Way too light. Okay, so let's see what else we've got. It's a while since I've done this, so I can't remember the colour combinations that I usually use for Caucasian skin tones. Let's have a look. It's not usually brown, is it? Sandstone? No, because I'm certainly not brown. Vanilla's a bit yellow. That's so light you can barely see it. I don't really want to go too pinky. Yeah, that'll do, I suppose. And the other good thing about using alcohol pens is that if you get the colour, as long as it's not too dark a colour, and you get it in the wrong place, if it's a lighter colour you can go over, or sometimes just push the wrong colour out of the way, because it doesn't matter how many times, unlike water-based pens, it doesn't matter how many times you go over the same area with alcohol pens, it doesn't actually get any darker, because the alcohol just pushes the other colour out of the way, which is why so many people like to use them, and you get such a lovely kind of flat effect. Now then, did I see there's one called Blush there somewhere? There we go. It is kind of dark. I'll just create a few little shadows. Just very subtle. Probably is a bit too dark actually. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've done any colouring, particularly A, on camera, and B, generally. Okay, so that's oatmeal. Just put a few different kind of like tones in. And then I think for that honeycomb, we'll just because back in the day, that's the colour it was. Okay. That'll do. That will do. Okay, so now begins the real difficult job of cutting him out. So I'll get off and do that once I can find my little mini scissors. There they are. So this will be a little bit of a fiddly job, but like I said, I'll go off, cut him out, because nobody got time to sit and watch anybody cutting out and then I will be right back. But actually, it's just gone 12. Mission Inspiration has just launched on Facebook, but my tummy's rumbling, so I might just have a quick break and go get some lunch. But you'll never know, because for you it's just going to be a few minutes. The wonders of modern technology, eh? Okay, so I've had my lunch. So yeah, so there he is. He's all cut out. I've even gone just around the edges just to hide some of those raw white edges. And I think he looks really, really cute. Right, so this is the Matrix Stencil. So this is one of my new stencil releases for June. This is available on the website now, and that's the other one that went with it, the Bamboozle. I could have used this one, but I'm going to use this one. So what I need is some white paint. I've had a look in my collection, actually. I can't find any... oh, Dina Wakley. Never thought. I thought I don't have any gold paint left. But Dina Wakley. Gilt. There you go. Guilt as in guilt, not guilt as in guilt. As in, I don't feel guilty. Well, I do, but I don't, if you know what I mean. Where's my scissors gone? I'm having one of those days where I put things down and they just disappear. There we go. Right, so yes, I thought to myself, I don't have any gold paint left. And then I suddenly realised I've still got the Dina Wakley. There we go. It's not an opaque kind of gold paint, but it'll do. It will do for what I want. Okay, so I've positioned the stencil down. Now I'm only going to use kind of like these 3 kind of columns here to add some colour down. So I'm going to pick it up with my sponge and then just gently come down like so, but I don't want to go really, really heavy. I don't want it too uniform, if you know what I mean. Just light dabs, kind of non-specific, floaty, if you know what I mean. That should do. Yep, that'll do nicely. So if I lift that up, you can now see that shape there. So I'll just lift that gold up, chuck it out, and then grab the heat gun, because I just need to dry that little bit of gold paint off. Right, the gold is dry, so you've now got that lovely kind of shimmer. So let's just bring in the prompts. So now we've added in a bit more goldy, glittery flicker because we've got it in the white splatters up there. So now time for doodles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just define those shapes that we've just stenciled just a little bit more. But I'm going to do kind of like just doodle over the top. Just to kind of define them a little bit without being too specific. just like that. Just like that. Okay, so now we've done that, it's time to stick down my little mini mic. So to do that, I'm going to use a glue stick, and I'll actually use the back of that just to put some glue down. Okay. Stand him about there. And then, now that he's stood down, what I can do is just kind of doodle, just kind of like around some of these rocky kind of shapes, just to give it a little bit more kind of grounding. Almost, so it looks like almost like stylized vegetation. Okay, and then the main focal point, which we'll go to put in, is going to be this. There you go. I said it was going to be a bit whimsical. So again, let's get the glue stick. So of course, remembering that the theme for this month is above and beyond, but obviously it does include space as well. So now those splatters make a little bit more sense, as does the background. Okay, so my quote. So I did two different versions. One in white out of black and one black out of white. So but I think I'm going to go with the white out of, so the black out of white. I'll just trim those bits off, and I'm going to leave that kind of shape, just with that kind of like circular kind of cut out, because it kind of follows that stencil. So we've got embrace the unknown. In fact, let's just put that at a little jaunty angle there, like the saucer. And then we've got one last little bit to add. I'll just finish cutting that out. Okay, there's my scissors. I'll just cut round, just to kind of give that the same kind of echo, and then we can get the glue. And I've chosen, I printed this off on the computer, and I've chosen the font I've chosen is one that almost looks kind of like computery, if you know what I mean. I'm sure you do know what I mean. Okay, so the last part of the quote can go there. I know, I did say I was in that kind of whimsical mood. So I'll just go around just to make that pop a little bit. Nobody said art journaling had to be serious all of the time. You can be as silly, sarcastic, and even rude if you want to. It's your art journal. You make the rules. And that includes using swear words if you want. If it's your journal, include the words that you would use. Okay, so we've now got lettering in there as well, or typography. So, above and beyond, outer space, the afterlife, or past the visible horizon, what can you imagine? Well, that's what I can imagine. Embrace the unknown, unless there's a probe involved. So what I'm going to do, just to finish off, I think I'm just going to do one of those kind of wavy, scribbly borders all the way around. Just to kind of frame it, just to add to that kind of doodly effect. But it also kind of like makes it look like, you know, like a sine wave or a sound wave. You know, the sort of signal you might get if you're expecting visitors from outer space. So there you go. There's my art journal page for the month of June, and I didn't sign it or date it, so let's just do that now. So we'll go there, and what date is it today? I've forgotten already. The 5th of June. So 5/6/21. So mission inspiration for June 2021, above and beyond. Maps, lettering, doodles, washi tape and glitter. Well, we've got mica and metallic paints in both the stars in the sky and in that beam that's coming down from our flying saucer. And above and beyond. There we go. And then navy, magenta and gold. There you go. We did manage to even get some gold in as well. So I hope you enjoyed watching me create that art journal page for June's mission inspiration. If you did, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel already, you can do so by clicking the button at the end of the video. And don't forget, if you want to join us over on our Mission Inspiration Facebook group, that's the URL on the screen there. But there is a clickable link in the description area below. The group is now private, so you can't see what's going on in there unless you've joined. Sorry, new Facebook rules. That's all from me for now. I'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye for now. I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of my angels, because without you, these videos would not be possible. Thank you.